Australian comedic legend Barry Humphries is back in hospital. The 89-year-old has been readmitted in Sydney due to complications from hip replacement surgery. He had the surgery following a fall at his home in February. Barry Humphries, well known for his alter ego Dame Edna, but many other performances and roles over 7 decades. Let's bring in now a good friend of Barry Humphries and my Sky News colleague, Rowan Dean. I know you spent the day with Barry Humphries yesterday, Rowan. Complications from this hip replacement, how is he?
Yeah, thanks, Kieran. Like many Australians, I was very fortunate to spend a night with Dame Edna many times in the 80s, and even an evening's intercourse with Dame Edna back in the 1980s when Dame Edna and Barry Humphries and Sir Les Patterson strode the globe, the greatest comedic talent ever, in my opinion, certainly the greatest Australian comedic talent ever. I spoke to him yesterday. I saw him a couple of weeks ago. In fact, about 10 days ago, went and visited him in the hospital, spoke to him yesterday and have spoken to him several times in between. He himself says, it's serious. He's got serious health problems. He cracked a joke about a used car dealer friend of his had told him that he wasn't exactly in, showroom condition, in mint showroom condition. But the great thing about Barry Humphries, if anyone's going to laugh ill health in the face, it's Barry Humphries. This morning he was, there was media reports this morning that he'd gone back into hospital, and that understandably created a bit of a media storm. So several people turned up to see him, and lots of people turned up this morning to see him. And he woke up and he said, "Why is everybody here? What are all these people doing here? Is there something wrong with me?" So his sense of humour never leaves him, Kieran. I'm actually very privileged. He wrote what he dismisses as a piece of doggerel, which is a kind of comedic verse. He's always done these very funny comedic verses. And he's written one for me at The Spectator, which he's very keen for me to publish. And don't worry, Barry, I certainly shall be publishing it. And we were even joking about setting it to music, which I've been talking to him about. And Barry Humphries never stops laughing and cracking jokes. Even if he's as ill as he currently is, he'll still be cracking jokes, he'll still be laughing, and he's always got a wicked sense of humour. So much so that I'm sure some of the nurses in the hospital are still amused by the twinkle in Barry Humphries' eyes and that irrepressible grin and that irrepressible laugh, which is just something very special to behold. So
we mentioned best known for Dame Edna, but you said Sir Les. But we're talking about someone who is an accomplished writer, a star on stage, and much more, and over 70 years. It's an absolutely extraordinary career, isn't it?
It's a phenomenal career, and it goes all the way back to Melbourne in 1955. He conquered many people in Australia, particularly the younger generation now, and there's a reason for this, which I'll mention in a second, Kieran. But he was a colossus, or is a colossus, of comedy in Britain. He conquered Britain in the 60s and 70s. In the 80s and 90s, he conquered Broadway. He conquered the West End of London. He's a titan of musical, comedy, live performances. He did movies, those brilliant movies with Bruce Beresford, The Adventures of Barry Mackenzie, which were basically based on his own experiences living in London as an expat. He helped set up Private Eye, the satirical magazine. And with Peter Cook, again, one of the great talents of British comedy or of world comedy, Peter Cook and Barry Humphries set up, Kieran, the Melbourne Comedy Festival. And what thanks do they get in the age of wokeness, which is now that we live in? Barry Humphries was cancelled by the Melbourne Comedy Festival, the very festival he himself set up with Peter Cook. That's the state of comedy today. That's how wokeness has kind of, Kieran, destroyed much of what was so great about Australian larrikin, irreverent humour. We need to bring it back. And Barry Humphries is the absolute reminder of how Australian sense of humour can dominate the world, Kieran.
He's 89 years of age. He described it as, he had the fall a couple of months ago, said it was just a ridiculous thing, like domestic incidents. I was reaching for a book, my foot got caught. But since then, he has been in agony, hasn't he, as he's been trying to do this rehab. We wish him all the very best, but obviously a tough time right now, Rowan.
Absolutely, and I just tell people, if you really want a good laugh, get out those Dame Edna, those Celez gags, because they are so funny. I mean, I spent my whole life in London ripping off those gags, as I'm sure most Aussie expats did at the time, because he certainly gave us the very best. And, you know, he'll be laughing today watching this, and he'll be fighting, and don't you worry. He's still got a one-man show he wants to put on later in the year, and I'd be buying my ticket right now for the front seat.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Let's wish him all the best and hope that he gets to that show. Thank you so much, Rowan, for your insights into Your Good Mate.